guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About Tomorrow, where we discuss anything and everything. I'm your host, Katrina.
And I'm your co-host, David.
Okay, I'd like to introduce our guests. We have Light in the house.
Imole.
Welcome.
And we also have Mr. Abaku in the house. We're grateful. We're always
Thank you for
gracing us with your presence.
Yeah, of course, I'm happy to be here.
Yes. So this is the sequel to one of our previous episodes, Live to Work or Work to Live, that's the name. So in that episode, we talked about the differences between living to work and working to live. In this episode, however, we want to understand the reasons behind living to work, and we also want to know why working to live has been said to be the balance. Living to work, which we explained before, as a situation where work is not a means to an end, but an end in itself, has never been ideal. So, now my first question is, what could possibly be the reason a person would dedicate all their time to their work without, enjoying life and, living? Mr. Bako.
Okay. In addition to the reasons we advanced the other time, I remember that the reason we had to call for a second part of this conversation was basically because I think David was the one who, off camera, was talking about childhood lack.
Yes, the trauma.
Yes, of childhood lack. Yes. So okay, let me give an example. MK Abiola, we all know him. He was a multi-billionaire. He had a lot of money. To the point that somebody stole his money from a bank. One of his managers in a comment to a bank said, "Oga, come and take 1 million naira." The bankers were suspicious. So they called MK and said, "One of your men is there to take 1 million. Did you authorize him?" He said, "How much was the money he wants to take 1 million?" He said, "I didn't, but leave him, let him go with it." In the 90s, in the 90s, somebody would come meet him and say, "Chief, my wife just had a baby and I have a good notice in my house. So what do you need now? A house to stay, okay." He would just gift. I didn't say rent or pay for it. He would give them the house. He had a football club in the southwest here, Abiola Babes. A football club in Benin came to play match with them, and we are stranded. He paid for their fare going back to Benin Republic. If you look at his philanthropy, Abiola had traditional titles from almost all the government areas in Nigeria. Almost all of them. Literally, he was everywhere. He had so much money.
That's I can't process
it. To give someone a house.
So much money. People know that. So that's just one random case. He was like my wife just had a baby without that. You brand new house, kid just so he was doing all of those things. Now, MKO as a child was born in so much poverty. You call that one penury. That the first time he ate egg in his life was in the home of his wife, or of his in-laws, of his wife, his first wife, his wife, Symbiat. It was when he went to the house that he ate egg for the first time in his life. And I think, was it he or the Yoruba that say, if you can conquer food,
yes,
you've conquered the hand. I think he was, so that saying was something I think he even brought to the name like that. Food for him, so he had all that money, and his background was what fired him on to say that he never will become poor never again will he become poor in his life. How people that make those decisions? Let me tell you, Abela was an accountant. Ella said, "You want to study accounting?"
It can be traced to that.
I'm sorry, but it's the truth, because it was not the only person. Ella he knew that in that generation of the 30s and 40s and 50s, when you check most of them that come from this childhood lack, that form of childhood lack, they said that they want to be accountants so that they can handle a lot of money. It was always what they wanted to do. So that thing is real, right? And it drives people into working and wanting to say, like you said, never again will they go. Anytime make them go back to that place,
they would rather die.
Yes, exactly. So they throw all their lives into work. Unfortunately, beyond MQ, you now find for a lot of them, they make all the money and now throw their children into another kind of trauma in which their parents are absent.
Yes.
Their parents are absent. You want school fees checked.
Have all the money, but
clothes
don't have the
checked.
luxury of life.
Video games, checked. Vacation, checked.
But availability of parents.
A fine house to live in, checked. Good food, premium, check. Anything money can do.
First class flights abroad.
But yes, but your parents are not there to give them father or mother to child attention, and that's a big problem. If you ask
one
me.
Extreme of that.
Yes, that becomes yet another problem.
Another thing that I found that has pushed some people to that place of what do they call it? Especially for men. I can speak for men because by the grace of God, I'm a man. Hallelujah. Thank you very much for adding that. Now, why I'm saying so is being jilted for someone because you lack by someone rather, and you see the person go to another person because not because that person is finer than you, just because the person can command more cash than you. Nothing motivates. That is for every that act in that what happens to a guy as a result of someone that he loves.
To his psychology.
It was bruised because of
it will. That's the word.
Yeah.
Sorry, darling.
Ego. That's what Yoruba will call it. It's one kind of pain. You know, another thing. I can't speak for you. Not to sound misogynistic, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Or chauvinistic.
Petrina, you see, I'm as open as it gets. So for me, speaking for the standpoint of men, lack is one. Lack, it can work for both genders. Another thing is someone you love so much, letting you go.
So, but is that argument rounded? Is it like, can't we put something, a wedge, to question or to interrogate it?
Okay.
So, for example, is the man driven by his quest for money or his quest to make a mark, like to show, to prove himself,
to make a statement?
Yes, that, you know. So for example, you saw that movie, I don't know what the movie is called now, Tyler Perry,
Acrimony.
So the man could have made money otherwise, but he shunned it.
Okay. He could have sold that.
Yes. No, even when his wife's sisters came and said, join us in this business, he could have said, you know what, after trying all these years, let me just settle for what is moderate. But somehow, I think he battled it on until the thing and then the money he made was only a byproduct of the thing he had invented.
Of course.
So sometimes men may be driven more by, some men have had women work out on them. Okay, so let me give an example. There's a very popular preacher, Nigerian preacher, church founder, bishop. The woman that he had initially maybe wanted to marry, I think for some reason they didn't marry him. It didn't work. But he didn't abandon his principles and values and dreams and hopes. He kept at it. He kept on a path that she didn't say anything was going to come out of it until he arrived at the end point of that thing was pursuing. And today he is known globally, he's respected, he's an author. So yes, sometimes it is possible that a man will be driven by that sort of jilting and say, I must, but then
there are people that are driven by
by their goals and by their values and by their principles. So maybe it may not be
that's a given.
There's one I can think of. Another reason I can think of is I don't know if, like, I think I'm not a middle child. What I mean middle child is like maybe you're the second child out of 3.
You are last born.
Or 5th out of 10 or 9 or something.
So
you are the last born. It's very obvious.
Who told you I'm the last one? Who said?
Continue.
Anyway, so those children, most of the time, they say that they are usually not given attention.
Oh, okay, yeah, that is the thing, yeah.
So another reason could be maybe a child that doesn't get attention from the parents might try to get attention by achieving stuff, maybe winning first position in class, just to get maybe the firstborn or the lastborn, they usually get attention, and then you're trying to maybe with other things they just always. But for the middle child, it's not really
the middle child syndrome. The middle child syndrome has been interrogated over the years by psychologists.
Okay.
And I think that, and again from experience, there are usually varied outcomes sometimes.
In that,
yes,
I'm an exception, but continue.
So the middle child, right, will be lucky to even escape to be able to do that thing, because the first, let's say the first child or those in the earlier bracket have gotten enough attention. Is that not so? The middle child is hanging somewhere. Then the last ones are also sort of getting attention. Sometimes they soak in so much that they never become anything significant. I've seen it. It's a possibility.
They soak in so much in what sense?
What do you because mean? They just feel that, like you're talking of them coming first. The first one have already taken that first position before. So what you're doing is not announcing you in any way.
Okay, in the family.
Yes, to your
but in some cases, maybe the first and the last or the other children, they have not maybe actually achieved what that middle child.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, that when you do the research, some patterns are fixed, are sort of recurrent, but you may not always get the same result with the middle child. But I agree that being a middle child can also lead to people having that drive to want to achieve something to make
and them see.
Yes, but I also want to think that somebody coming into the live to work spectrum full time or full bloom, there's a whole lot that has happened to that person.
Obviously, yes.
There's a whole lot that has happened.
Obviously,
okay, because that work to live, that thing is, I'm sorry, I mean, it's madness. Nothing else matters to the person.
Can I come in?
All the validation comes from the work they do. That's a whole lot, actually.
I in my own opinion, I'm not sure there are reasons that can actually justify living to work, like living all of your life, all of your existence to work. Because we have cases and scenarios whereby we have our fathers and mothers that worked for 30 years for somebody, 30, 20 years, and at the end of the day they have nothing to show for it. And they work their ass off to make money, to make end meet at the end of the day. Even while they are working to make end meet, they still they couldn't feel that they did not meet at the same time.
So that's one,
and they walk around the clock.
That's one.
So that's a caveat. But like, are we sorry? Because that premise of working, living to work. I don't know if you've seen it before. There's hard work.
Okay.
Hard work is not living to work. There's hard work that yes, no. You are employed in a company and you're a hard worker. Naturally, even putting extra hours and stuff is fine. But work, living to work.
Is that not living to work?
No, living to work. The person living to work is escaping from something.
Yes, even when they are at home, they are working.
They are escaping from something. Yes, they are escapists.
Okay.
Not just having extra hours.
They're
always working.
Yes.
There is something that is constantly pursuing them, or they are pursuing.
If you say there's a bonus for extra hours, they will be the first. Somebody told me about a colleague of his that didn't go on leave for 1 whole year.
That's good.
All the overtime, they will work to claim the bonus.
That's good.
But that's
good.
That is
now
painful.
So now you're coming to it.
It is somewhat
that's more than hard work. In a way,
it's obsession.
Good. In a way, right? People like that may even require some level of psychiatric. It's abnormal. It's abnormal. And there are people like that. It's abnormal. You see, sometimes. So, for example, they may tell a musician that your active years, use them effectively. So maybe for some, let's say between 4 and 12 years of their lives, that's when they did all their songs, everything, because you have your active years,
your prime.
After that one, they retire to something, like they sort of semi-retire. They're no longer in the man who is living to work will always, even when work is finished, right, he will invent the next reason.
Exactly.
So footballers are coming to mind right now.
They know what the next reason why they should go to the next thing. So that one I think is abnormal, because something is making them to feel that if they leave this thing, nothing else will give them.
So to ask, is working to live, is it really a balance? If it is, why? Like, if you think about it. Because
there
are people who have been of the opinion that working, so that not living to work now, working to live is where the balance is. Is that questionable? If
the other
not,
extreme is living without caring about work.
So what's the question?
My question: working
to live.
To live.
Is it the balance?
There are people that have the opinion that it is the balance.
Obviously, it is the balance.
Why do you think so?
Because when you work, you make money, and at the same time, you have time for other things you love doing. You have time for your family, you have time for your hobbies.
Okay.
You have time to. When you work under somebody, if you are working to live, at the same time, you can also have your side or build your own empire.
Okay,
your business aside, not just working and building somebody else's empire for the whole of your life without having anything.
I think I get you.
So when you work, it is a perfect balance for your life. You work, you make money.
For me,
yes, you have your career going on. You have your own personal business. You have your family. You have your hobbies. You have time for vacation.
So living. Working, living, that living with what you're saying has career, personal career, has family, has
social life, spiritual life, physical life, everything.
Okay, I think I get you.
For me, from the sentence "working to live," it doesn't sound alright to me.
In what?
Yes.
I trust you. I'm listening.
It doesn't sound, because when you say "I'm working to live," it suggests that you don't deserve to live, that you have to do something to, like the way they say it, earn a living.
Shouldn't I?
No, you shouldn't. You deserve to live.
Who said?
So you don't believe that you deserve to have a life?
We don't hold this life. God can come anytime and take.
There is still you deserve
the principle of give and take is existing.
You deserve
to have power over the life
to be
alive.
If I may,
for me,
yes. Okay,
let me just finish. So for me, I do believe that working to live is the balance, but there should be more of living than working. That's how I see it. Your working should be very minimal. And that's when you're really going to enjoy life. Yeah. That's why you see like all these CEOs, they don't really have to, like, of big companies, they don't really have to be there.
I bet to
differ. They're under more pressure than anybody.
Of course, yes.
So
you don't want to imagine what they go through.
They're being pressed on every side.
By the board. By the board.
Business must not crash.
And shareholders.
One wrong decision destroys everything they do.
But to address the issue you raised, working to live, I know that on the surface, it doesn't maybe hit a chord with you, but Shakespeare said one time, he said, brevity is the soul of wit.
Again?
Brevity. In quote, briefness. Brevity is the soul of wit. Okay. It's a witty saying. And it has to be brief. You don't have to pack everything into it, right? It's the meaning it conveys. Now, in the Bible, there was a man that when his boss was going to sack him, he said, to beg, I cannot. And then he said that he cannot dig and he cannot beg. So what he did was that he went to meet the debtors of his master and told them, if you're owing 100 naira, pay 20. If you're owing 200, pay 30. So that by the time he would have written up their debts and he goes back into the world, into joblessness, to welcome him and say you are kind to us, right? When we say, because you have to live as a human being, you can't beg to live, you shouldn't do that. You cannot steal to live, you shouldn't do that. But you can, it's unable to work to live.
Emphasis on honor.
That's the whole idea.
Well,
actually, no. Actually, and then actually, right? The other point is this: the person who is working to live may actually even do more work than the person who is living to work, because it's an attitude thing, right? The person who is working to live can even imbibe hard work and work some more, all right? But he understands that his life is on a trajectory. He has planned himself, like she was talking about. There's career planning, okay? He's not just walking blind and walking. No, his life is balanced. Every now and then he even spends extra hours at work, but he goes back home knowing that he has a place to fall back on. But the person who is living to work, right, will rather work than do anything else. That is the problem. And we've talked of the factors. Now, anybody who is going through that kind of thing, childhood trauma, maybe a home that he or she cannot return to and things like that, I think it's important that they get attention, because the work cannot be a solution to anything. It cannot be. You need to fix. You need to face that issue and fix it.
It can never be.
It can never be.
Escape.
No, it can never be. And give the means of escape.
I still maintain my stand.
That
if my stand is working to live, fine, can be the balance, but the work should not be on the same level as the living. If not, you're not going to enjoy your life. I said it. Anyways, Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Light, for
Thank
being
you,
on the
Light.
show.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. And that's how far we can go on today's show. If you have anything to say, we'd like to hear it in our comment section.
Yeah.
Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Enterprise TV 7 and follow us across all social media at Enterprise TV 7. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Bye for now.
Thank you.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.